Hello, and welcome to Milwaukee Theater Alliance's You've Got a Thing. My name is Posy Knight, and I am the co-founder of 53212 Presents, a local nonprofit with the mission of bringing artists into affordable spaces from the River West and Harambe neighborhoods. And I'm very, very excited to introduce you to today's guest, Barb Farrar, from the LGBT Center of Southeast Wisconsin. Barb is the executive director of that organization. Thank you so much for joining us today, Barb.
Oh, thanks, Posy. It's really a pleasure to be here with you. Thank
Is
you.
it as gorgeous in Racine as it is in Milwaukee today?
Oh, you know it. You know it. Lakefront. Here we are.
We've come out of a treacherous winter, and we're hopeful that things are taking a turn for the better. I wanted to just share with you guys that I was introduced to the Southeast, the LGBT Center of Southeast Wisconsin through a friend who invited me to one of their virtual events. So I've had the great pleasure of attending two of the virtual events offered there. They're so fun. And so I'm very excited to share with you. You know, I have struggled myself through the pandemic to sort of keep my spirits lifted. And I hope that y'all will be joining us for their virtual event that's coming up. Barb, would you tell us about what's next? What you've got a thing. Tell us about this thing. What's next?
Yeah, awesome. So Friday, March 12th at 7 p.m., we have a Zoom link to our Virtual Equality Prom. So the history of this, there's a couple things I want to share with you. We have done two other virtual events, virtual dance parties, and we've had between like 65 and 75 people at each of those events. The first one was just a dance party in January. And
Just a dance party.
just a dance party.
It's
And
so
the
fun.
second was a Valentine's Day event, fundraiser, dance party, and live auction. So that one was kind of a fundraiser, but really just bringing community together. And then this one is our all ages prom. So typically what we do is we have a equality prom for youth in non-pandemic times. So that's for 14 and 18-year-olds. And it's really an opportunity for kids to come and invite their friends and be open with whoever their partner is and just have a really great time outside of their high school or junior high.
And now with the pandemic, you've switched formats to be more inclusive for all ages. Who can come? Can anyone come to the virtual prom?
Oh yeah, we have people from East Coast, West Coast. I don't think we have any Canadians yet, but we're working on that. So anybody can come. You don't have to be LGBTQ, but you need to be an ally. And yeah, I think you may see an image of our DJ. This is DJ Ome Lopez.
Amazing.
Ome uses they, them pronouns and is actually located in Fresno, California. And they are probably one of the most premier virtual DJs in the country. In fact, they did a stint at the DNC, and they also hosted the Gender Spectrum Conference, which is a national organization supporting gender identities, fluid genders, and so forth.
They're the reason why I came back.
Yeah.
An amazing event. And that sort of leads me into this question. What can we expect from the virtual prom? Do we need to dress up? Do we need to decorate? I mean, how far can we take this?
Yes, 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 and yes. So we encourage tuxes and taffeta
Oh,
or
tuxes,
whatever.
my goodness.
Yes, yes. So there will be people sporting what they may have worn or what they would have liked to have worn back in the day. We represent many decades as well, so there will be special nods to various decades. So if you want to bring out your mullet, feel free to. So it's just going to be really fun. In terms of decorations, you know, decorate however you like. Wigs are always welcome. You know, pets are welcome as well. So it's just a lot of fun. And for those people who think that a virtual dance party is just like yawn, it's not. It's really engaging. And that's part of the reason why we love DJ Ome, is because they are able to engage in terms of like a scavenger hunt, or you know, bring your favorite food item, or here's a toast to. It's just a lot of fun. And for an hour, it's really, there's not a dull moment. It's really a good time.
Are there going to be any guest performers this time?
I'll have to leave
Okay.
that as a
Okay.
secret. We had a drag queen for the last one, which was really exciting and a technical challenge because we had never done that. So we, going virtual of course, was a shift for everybody. We had rolled out a new event virtual platform that we were using for the first time. We were having a virtual gala for the first time, fundraiser, silent auction. That was fun. And then we had a drag queen from another state, and so it was it was a phenomenal experience and definitely live.
We're so proud of our live queer performers that are finding new ways to bring their art forms to the virtual medium. If I can't make it to the event, what are some other ways that I can support your organization in its mission?
Sure. Well, we hope to have it recorded and available at some point on our website. So that's one thing you can still participate in, or at least view it. Other ways to participate, we're always looking for people who want to get involved, whether you're LGBTQ plus or an ally. And we're looking for people that want to roll up their sleeves, especially in the world of advocacy. There's a lot going on right now in terms of the equality agenda from Washington D.C. and Biden's administration, writing letters to your congressperson and just really supporting LGBTQ rights, because we are at a point where we can make some serious, long-lasting change. So that's probably the first thing. And anybody who's interested in support groups, we now have about 6. We've had as many as 9 during the pandemic. We have 6 support groups that are for elders, for youth, for trans, we have a spirituality group, which is awesome. We've got a parenting with pride group and an umbrella group, which just is for anybody. So those are accessible through our website and virtual links that you can just ask to get a Zoom link sent to you and enjoy it that way. And of course, some people just like to write a check, and that's okay too. So we'll accept that, or you can just go to our website and click the donate button, and then that will allow you to support our programs and services.
I visited the website myself yesterday, www.lgbtsewi.org. And I should mention that to come to the virtual equality prom, you want to pre-register for that event. But I also wanted to mention, right when I show up, I noticed that Black Lives Matters flag right on the front of your website. Can you talk to us a little bit about being based in Racine, how the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent protests, how has that impacted your organization and your community?
Well, I think it's really brought all people together. And if there is any positive aspect of what's going on, it's that. It's the awareness of how lives of Black people, Hispanic people, and trans people that experience is very different. And to really support and make change, we have to support everybody, whether they're undocumented, disabled. I mean, the intersectionality of the LGBT community and all other experiences are real. So we show up, and we will show up even more going forward because, you know, we just have to. It's standing up for people's rights, equality, and ending this white supremacy world that we live in.
It's like a fabric of the history of your organization, and I sort of imagine a really like important thread through your life and now your career. Can you sort of tell us a little bit about the organization and sort of that journey, and how you guys have developed over time? You guys have existed for more than 50 years, am I right?
Well, we were founded in 2009
Okay.
in Racine, and it was originally started to do some advocacy work, but really a social group, a place for people to go to. It used to be you just went to a gay bar and that's kind of what you had, but centers really started to be prominent around HIV/AIDS and support of marriage equality. But I would say LGBT centers now are as important as they have always been, because more and more people are coming out. The umbrella is getting wider and wider. More and more people are comfortable sharing their gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, and even biological sex. It's an amazing time to come together and to celebrate people who are unique, and we're all unique.
Who are some of the partners that you work with? Who's on your team, and who sort of like facilitates the work that you guys do?
Yeah, currently I'm the only employee, so
Hey.
we're in the process of hiring another person. So anybody who's interested in applying, please do. But we have some really strong partnerships. One thing I love about Racine is that we have an executive director group. There's like 30, 35 nonprofits who are part of this, and EDs get together once a month to talk about what's happening in Racine and how we can partner together. So there's a core group of people there we connect with. NAMI, Racine County National Association for Mental Illness, is a key partner for us because unfortunately, so many LGBTQ people do suffer from mental illness, whether it be through anxiety, depression, dysphoria. That is real. So they're a strong partner, as well as Racine Behavioral Health and Racine Family Services. So these are therapists and support organizations that really make a difference on a day-to-day basis for our community.
As someone who has personally been connected to people in the queer community that have struggled with mental health, we want to make sure that everyone knows that there's help for them and support for them. Barb, do you have any sort of advice or, like any advice that you could give people who are feeling isolated and alone during the pandemic? What are some things that we can do to reach out and to access the support that you offer?
Right, right. And my head automatically goes to crisis situations, right? So reaching out to a center like ours, a friendly parent or neighbor or school counselor or teacher. But I also think about the Trevor Project, and that is a phenomenal national organization that's mission is to prevent it's a suicide hotline basically
Mhm.
for LGBTQ youth, and they're open 24/7 for anybody around the world. And that's a volunteer run organization, so that's phenomenal. I think getting into a support group is phenomenal. We have a therapist who's going to be leading our youth program. Getting youth on Zoom calls in a pandemic was easy and fun, and now it's kind of lost its flair. But
Mhm.
making sure that they still connect is really, really important.
Are there any other resources? I think of, for me, I'm big into social media. I love TikTok, I love Instagram, and I find that there are collaborators that I can connect to through those media. But are there any other sort of artist inspirations, authors, TV shows, movies, musicians? Like, are there any queer artists that have inspired you or helped you through tough times?
I think probably my favorite kind of recent movie is and series is Pose, um, because it just has such a history with my, I'm 54, and so it's like there's a lot of history that goes back to those houses back in Chicago and New York. Paris is Burning was a very influential movie to me, and brought me an awareness to the Black trans community that at the time wasn't aware of, and it's been very impactful. And I just love the characters on Pose. So
I think that some of those shows, like for me, I'm a big RuPaul's Drag Race fan, of course. But just like as an ally, I search out ways of connecting to the queer community in meaningful ways. Do you have any advice for someone who's an ally and doesn't really know where to start? What are some like concrete ways that I can show support for the LGBT community?
well, I get political then. I'm like, stand up, be an ally. Ally is a verb, it means action. So put your money where your mouth is, and whether it's writing letters to Congress people or standing up to the uncle at Thanksgiving dinner, it's about not being shy. It's about really advocating for what that means. There are people I know who are allies or even within the LGBT community who are still kind of confused about what some of the recent vocabulary is and how do I use pronouns and things like that. We have a program called, it's a Safe Zone program. It's an LGBTQ awareness program. So if you or your organization would like training, you can reach us on our website and reach out, and we'll set something up. We do churches, we do nonprofit organizations, and that's really just giving people the tools to be able to respond in an intelligent and thoughtful and kind way. The other thing that we have is a queer book club. I forgot to mention that earlier.
Oh, cool.
This just started a couple months ago. And our first book was Untamed by Glennon Doyle. The second book we did is I'm Still Here by Austin Channing Brown, who is a Black woman who talks about her experience in a racist society. And now in March, we're doing Queer America, I think it's called, and it is about LGBTQ people in red states, and it's going to be a great read. So this is all virtual, and it's really fun.
Well, I want to encourage everyone to check out the website and sign up for the Equity Prom if you can. Invite a friend. If you can't, send some money. Sign up for a program, get involved. Like you said, contact your local elected officials, get involved, because it's so important for us to show, especially for me, it's like the youth, that we're there supporting them, but everybody needs support. And Barb, I just want to thank you so much for coming today and sharing your event. I will be seeing you on March 12th. Was there anything that you want to share, parting words, before we say goodbye?
I really appreciate this opportunity. Posy, you're an awesome dancer, and it's great to see you out there.
Like, never the bride, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right? Never up for the dance competition.
Dust off the taffeta, bring the tux. Really, it's a fun time, and spread the word, bring people out. And I mean, queers love a good dance party, so let's bring it.
Oh yeah, the music is, I mean, Ome's music is the best. Absolutely, it's a banger. It's going to be a good time. It's all ages and completely inclusive. So we hope that you'll come and join us and have fun and maybe shake off some of those blues and be a part of the community. So appreciative of all the work that you're doing, Barb. It means a lot to me personally. And I know that the work that the LGBT Center of Southeast Wisconsin is doing is so important to so many people. And I'm hoping that we can bring just a little more awareness and support to what you guys do. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you. And we can't ignore that we're in a pandemic and some people are really suffering. And what better way to kind of shake off some of those blues and heartache than to have an amazing dance party. So that's one of our ways to combat this tough time.
All right, beautiful. Thank you
so much. Yeah.
My pleasure, as always. Really nice to talk to you, Barb.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah. That's awesome. You're so informative, Posy. You find the best people.
Well, as a dancer, I grew up surrounded. I mean, all of my inspiration and role models are gay men.
Sure.
So, my life has been what it is because of their love and support and because of their accepting of me, And so I feel very, very passionate about returning that love. I wouldn't be the artist I was today without queer people. So
I think it's a very different world in a lot of ways. I mean, as always, there are always challenges. There's a very different world than when we were growing up. So, I mean, I've been in theater and it's the same thing. You have all all persons in the theater universe. And so some of these things are just inherent and obvious to us, but the only way that we're going to create a better world for all is, like Barb said, is to be loud and don't be ashamed of yourself. Be the person you are. Like she also said, you know, we are all unique.
Not letting fear hold us back from the work that needs to be done, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
As an art educator too, I feel like, you know, I look at my young students in MPS and I know that there are people in every single one of my class that are maybe not living in accepting environments at home, you know, who live in fear. And so I have been working on how I can educate about inclusivity, even with younger students. It's work, and it's so important. And Jamie Lynn, thank you for just making a space for that that dialogue at the MTA.
Yeah, trying. I mean, you know, as we've talked about, the part of the mission of the MTA is to create a better environment throughout Milwaukee, the Milwaukee theater environment. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is to reach out to organizations like the LGBT Center of Southeast Wisconsin and get resources so that we can, when we have artists who need those types of resources, we already have those connections. Like, you know, if I have an artist who needs an LGBTQ resource, I'm gonna be like, hey, here's Barb's email.
Right.
You know, or here is the website. They have events going on all the time. You can find a community. We have all different artists of all different backgrounds in Milwaukee theater and within the Theater Alliance. And you know, we ourselves can't. My background is different than your background, is different than somebody else's background. So we need all of these resources to provide the best environment that we can within Milwaukee theater.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah. Do you wanna hear about some other things that are happening?
Yeah, absolutely. What else is going on? I'm actually going to the Pink Umbrella show tonight. Hey.
Are you? Well, that's so interesting that you say that, because
are they first up?
That's
so cool. Okay, yes, Jerome. Love it.
So yeah, Pink Umbrella has this is so cool. I don't even. Katie Cummings is an amazing human being who is also creating a space that's like super amazing for persons. Pink Umbrella is, of course, I shouldn't say of course. For those of you new to this program, Pink Umbrella Theater provides accessible theater for all. It's specifically designed to promote and provide theater that is accessible and inclusive to people who identify with physical, intellectual, or emotional disabilities. And Jerome Robinson wrote this piece that they're turning into a sitcom. So tonight is their stage reading of that. It's the story behind it is that Jerome is a radio host looking for love, and when his ex-girlfriend shows up with her fiance, things get interesting.
Okay.
So
that's the drama I like.
The whole thing that he says that this is about is that it was something that was written with his niece in mind so that she could have something positive to watch, but it's also about learning about cerebral palsy or cerebral palsy, however you say it, tomato, and that it's not something that people should be afraid of, and that people with cerebral palsy have the same feelings just like people who don't have it. So that is tonight at 7 p.m. Posy is going. You gotta register for that stuff to get links and whatever, and you can go to Pink Umbrella Theater. That's an ER.org for that. To find out more. Opus Theater, they have their ongoing series this is a whole other website, a whole other project called No Holds Barred. This is the Pericles Project, like the Shakespeare shindig. It's every other Wednesday, live on the internet through April 7th. It's a 16-part series, serialization of Shakespeare Pericles, Prince of I think it's Tyre,
Prince of Tyre.
Yeah. I've never read that piece. I've seen
it a couple of times, and I think, they tackled it in an episodic way so that they could break it up, and they've done a really interesting job of casting each episode with different sort of artists. And so if you hadn't had a chance to go back and look at older episodes too, it's something that you can kind of like, it's like a snack. You can kind of like grab some episodes along the way. They're all a little different. They're they're interdisciplinary. So you have music and dance and all different kinds of things going on, but it also features a lot of amazing local artists. So yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, I just haven't been able to get to it yet. Sorry, Susan. I'm sorry, Susan. Sorry. But that's sort of the great thing about the environment that we're, one of the silver linings of the environment that we're in right now is that we can get to things when we can, especially for us parents. Like that's incredibly helpful. Mm-hmm. The Village Playhouse is presenting 2 of their selections from their 35th annual One Act Festival. Mike Willis is the Visitation, and Sably Sabin's Blending.
Cool.
Suggested donation is $5. You can find out all about that at villageplayhouse.org. I also forgot noholdsbarred.org, noholdsbarred.org for Pericles.
And now these are all Theater Alliance members. So you also hypothetically could dip into the Alliance website and click on the members. Yeah.
You can always go to MilwaukeeTheaterAlliance.org. Theatre. These are 3. I think Pink Umbrella is the only one that's a theater of our members. Speaking of members, we have 2 new members to the Alliance.
Nice.
Productions and Seat of Our Pants Readers Theater has joined the team. Capita is they've been around for 30 years, or actually both of these companies have been around for 30 years. Capita Productions, their mission is to draw from all areas of the community to foster multicultural awareness and racial harmony through the medium of community theater. They strive to bring together people of diverse ages, races, and backgrounds to provide an example of how the community can work together. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Capita stands for, where did I put that? I thought I added that to my notes. Capita stands for, I am now a horrible host. Community. Oh. There, it's right there. Posy, it's right on the logo. City at Peace in the Arts.
Oh, okay.
Capita. Yes.
I was thinking per capita, and so I was like,
no, City at Peace,
like community,
Yeah. I'm very excited that they're on board. I have yet, because of the pandemic, to meet Racine artists in person, but she has been in so many meetings that I've been in, and I enjoy her very much and the things that she has to say. So I'm so glad that she and her team are on board. And then Seat of Our Pants Readers Theater, they've done stuff at 53212. You all are tight with them.
Yeah, we partner a lot. And Mark Flagg, who is the sort of director of that group, has been during pandemic working really hard to get accessible theater out to some adult daycare facilities, and traditionally does a lot of readers theater. So the development of scripts is very important to Seat of Our Pants. And we actually have a project. It's a filmed readers premiere of a play by John Kolb that is going to be coming. It's in the works. And so, yeah, really exciting stuff. Love Seat of Our Pants. Again, great local theater company doing their own thing.
Yeah. Again, if you are interested in joining the Theatre Alliance, you can always go to the website at MilwaukeeTheatre.org. And then I just want to give a a shout out to Imagine MKE, because they're just doing amazing work, and they also provide us with this platform that we do this show on, and so I'm just grateful to their support. They're also a big supporter of the Theater Alliance. One of their most awesome persons, Kanita Hickman, is on our board and just providing us great leadership and direction, and they're just amazing peoples. And so, but one of their big things, and this is sort of all of these pieces that we're sort of putting together here, or that that we're trying to put together, along with like the LGBT Center and Imagine MKE, is especially for Imagine MKE, is the Civic Action.
Yeah.
Now is the time. I just feel like we're living in an interesting time period now. I mean, we see it everywhere with the civil unrest, but from where I see and what I feel, the reasons behind all this civil unrest, and is that things need to change, obviously. The way that things will change is if we all get involved and more active in our society. Full disclosure, I was a political science major for 2.5 years. So this has always been something that's of interest to me. But I think Imagine MKE really showed us in this past year the kind of action that they can get done when they get a whole bunch of people together and involved. Also, what the Theater Alliance is about. Let's get people together, strengthen numbers, get people involved. And so that, Imagine provides templates and things like that you can write to your senators and write to the people of your district, to let your voice be heard. Let them know what things are important to you, like the arts, like LGBTQ issues, these types of things. You have to let them know. Voting is so important, yes, but we have to start getting back into this sort of civically minded action where talk to your people. I feel like some people up on that Golden Hill feel like they're untouchable now, especially with certain things that have happened, like in Wisconsin with redistricting and all that kind of stuff, that they've created this safety net for themselves. And all of us peons down here at the bottom, things that we care about, like the arts, are not on their list. And so that's how Wisconsin ended up 50th in arts funding, of which we are now 49th.
Wow.
And
who's last?
Arizona, because no, they might.
What?
Arizona went to $0 in funding.
I see.
And so we got bumped up to 49th. Imagine MKE did do some great work about getting the Arts Board, the Wisconsin Arts Board, did in fact the funding for the arts, thanks to hopefully the new administration, Governor Evers, and all this action that Imagine and the Arts Board have been doing, did get more money for the arts this year for the first time in over a decade. But we're still 49th.
Right.
So some of the action that the Theater Alliance that we hope to do with fair pay for artists and all that kind of stuff can only. But
it's like why it's so important to get people involved on all sides of the conversation. You have administrative, you have audience members, you have the patrons, and then you have the creators. It's so important that we are all communicating and collaborating and staying connected. And that's why I'm a member, 53212 Presents is a member of the Milwaukee Theater Alliance. It's not about everybody always agreeing on everything. It's seeing the value in participating in the community and collaborating and supporting one another, and sort of just circling back to our guests today and thinking about the mental health issues that our most vulnerable are facing right now during the pandemic, it's really important to be there for one another. And so, you know, I appreciate the sort of vulnerability that you show in talking about how things are not perfect. Like, it's okay for us to acknowledge the struggles that we're having, and to talk about sort of like the toll that that takes on arts. We take artists' work for granted so much, but it is incredibly difficult. You have to be so brave. As someone who recruits dance majors for UWM, you have to be so brave to decide, I'm going to be a dancer.
Yeah.
That takes so much courage, so much like inner strength, and like just acknowledging that that's your path in this environment is just so incredibly challenging. And so every bit of support that we can get is so meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, same thing with theater. Like, you know, I remember when I told my mom I wanted to be an actor, she cried.
What does it even look like for people now with pandemic? Like, what does the career of being an artist even look like? You know, I've always said that everybody needs an assistant to be their best person, but like, you know, to produce, like Jamie Lynn, to be a theater person, it's like you have to be editing the music, you have to like know about technology, you have to do all the admin, you have to write the grants, you have to like pull the costumes, and like, you know, all of you have to analyze the scripts, you have to like know how to design and hang lights, like you have to be able to like do electricity, you have to like do sound. Like, what are we not doing? Artists, you know, the burden is just huge to produce work. We need the community.
Well, some of yes, out of necessity, all of that burden has been, but you know, I hope that some of the work of the Theater Alliance is going to be to ease that burden. You know, part of the reason why we have to know all that stuff and do all that stuff on top of day jobs, mind you,
and families,
mind you, is because of the structure of the arts in America and Wisconsin and Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Are you also struggling with these things?
I am. It took me 5 days to get my kid in the shower this week. My kid has special needs, for anybody who's been following
new to the show,
been following this program. Aurora is she's a great kid, but she has been going through some struggles in this pandemic, the latest version of which is not being able to get her into the shower, and woman was ripe by the time I got her there. But the struggle is real. But you know, as I've sent in emails and things, that, you know, art is what keeps me balanced. So part of that, it has been the struggle of not having that access. This program is great. I love it. I love working, you know, for the Theater Alliance mission. But I need to make some art. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So to that point, hey friends, do what you can to help make this pandemic end sooner, whether that's wear a mask, get a vaccine, keep your distance, wash your hands, all those types of things, so that we all, especially in theater, can get back to that
in person.
Can get back safely. Mm-hmm. Because the stuff that we've been doing in the meantime is great, and it's keeping the community connected. But the unique thing about theater is sitting next to somebody and riding the roller coaster of emotions all at the same time. You know, our hearts beat as one when we're in a room together watching theater. There's scientific evidence. Yeah. So thank you, Madam Knight.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We're always happy to come on and shout out our amazing art scene here in Milwaukee. People are doing it. And despite all the struggles, we're the best in crisis. Artists are, yeah.
Artists are the best in crisis. That is, we have been taught flexibility.
Yeah, we're problem solvers. Yeah, we're natural problem solvers.
We deal with failure all the time. I mean, like, how many auditions do you go to as, you know, like an actor? How many auditions do you go to in a year that you don't get?
Yeah.
For me, a lot, because I'm a particular type. But we're gonna keep talking about all this stuff next week.
Yeah.
Be back next week with a new guest and another host and the whole things. And so thank you all for being with us today and listening today and all of it. And
get out and support some live theater.
Go out, go see Jerome stage reading tonight, pinkumbrellatheater.org. And we'll talk to you next week on You've Got a thing.